is a show where I try to educate real stories.
Thank you for watching Truth and Justice with Vivian King. I am bringing you another fascinating story of Dieter Cantu from San Antonio. He lives here in Houston now, but I want to tell you this story. It's a very interesting story. He just told me off air about it, and it sounds a little strange. So, as you know, this is a story where I try to educate people about the criminal justice system through stories, through people's stories. My co-host is Damion Walker. We haven't seen Damion in a long time, but hey, there's Damion.
I'm back.
He's back. Let's see if he's really back.
I'm really back. I'm happy to be back too.
All right, we miss you. Me and Danny been missing you.
Thank you.
But anyway, it's Dieter's night tonight. So Dieter, so tell us about your robbery in San Antonio. So I'm gonna start it off. So the fascinating thing about this is Dieter tells me he caught an aggravated robbery case at 16 with 3 other co-defendants. Mm-hmm. They were 17 and older, and you know in Texas, 17 and older is an adult. Mm-hmm. So Dieter, 16, he had to go to TYC, where the adults, the 17 and older, bonded out and really never went to prison. Yeah. Even though he was sitting in the bed of the truck, he was sitting in the cab of the truck and not in the bed of the truck. So tell us what happened.
Essentially we were joyriding around San Antonio, downtown San Antonio.
Was the driver of the car, was it his car?
Yeah, it was his vehicle.
It was his vehicle?
And it was his firearm as well. And so, like you said, I was 16 and my peers were 17, 18, 19. And so I was the youngest. And so one of the individuals put a firearm on somebody, and probably like in 60 seconds, he was coming off work, I believe. It was like at a hotel. And gave him a pack of cigarettes and a cell phone. And I would say we got like 2-3 blocks down the street. You know, we going back and forth, talking crazy to each other because it was sporadic. And we looked up and we had like these bike cops had firearms pointed on us, and they were just like, the dude already reported it. We fit the description, of course, because it happened not even 5 minutes ago. And then, this was October. My birthday was in December on Christmas. And so they were like, just kind of, one of the individuals wrote a witness statement, but he was like, if you sign a plea bargain, you won't go to the TDCJ, you'll go to TYC. If you go to TDCJ, you probably do 25 to 40 or whatever, because we got the gun, we got everything that was on y'all. So just sign for 10 and go to TYC. So when I signed for 10, I guess that's when my co-defendants kind of put whatever together, and then nobody get no time.
So what happened to them?
Well, when I got out in 2009, they were still going to court. So one of them went home like the same night. The other 2, they were still going to court once I got out 4 years later.
Well, this is one of the reasons why the criminal justice system is crowded, because your story doesn't sound like the average story in Houston, Harris County. So the way you've described it is that it's a truck. Yeah. You're sitting in the cab of the truck with the driver. Mm-hmm. It's guys on the bed of the truck. Mm-hmm. It's a shotgun back there that belongs to the driver. Right. He's grown enough to own the gun. Yeah, right. Shotgun is empty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was empty.
It was no plan to rob anybody. Mm-hmm. You'd never robbed anybody before. It was no plan to rob anybody. He got high. One guy in the back got high and just sporadically robbed somebody coming down the street, getting off work or whatever.
With all those,
stole some cigarettes and a cell phone. Mm-hmm. And then you go to TYC and get 10 years. I've really never heard of anything like that.
That's one of
Not
those
in Texas. Not in Texas.
It's one of those stories where it's like, what we went through as far as like the super predators, it was like residuals almost, especially San Antonio is a little bit different. Hard, yeah, a little bit different town than Houston. And even though it's a big city, it's still a little bit different town. Well, were your co-defendants, were they black or Hispanic or what were they?
Yeah, they were all black.
Yeah, and so and then when you were going through the system, or from what you've heard later on, was that something that was common? Were they just sentenced everybody like that?
I think San Antonio.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, everybody that was going to TYC from San Antonio, they looked at me like 10 years was like. Like they were really giving out like 20,
But the
25.
problem is you didn't have the gun, and so there's something in the law called mere presence. You were merely present. If the government couldn't prove that y'all had planned to rob people, and somebody just went off on their own and did something because they were high, I mean, you weren't guilty of that crime. No, I mean, you felt like you were guilty of the crime?
I don't feel like I was guilty, but I think what hurt me was one of them had wrote a witness statement like on everybody because he was scared, and so.
Was he the one with the gun?
No, he had no gun. He had no gun either.
So why did he write the witness statement? You think the
It's just
police
trying
told
go
him to?
Yeah, I think they put that, that pressure on because I remember when we was all, like they brought the, like the news cameras and all that. We were like handcuffed on the curb.
They brought the news cameras that fast?
Mm-hmm. Like we was sitting on the curb, like just handcuffed for a while. And then when they asked me my age, they're like, well, don't put him on camera. But I noticed that they took him first. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, if they taking him somewhere else, I didn't really, until I went to juvenile, and I was like, damn, he probably cooperating.
And how old are you now?
I'm 35.
So if you were 35 and at 16, because you look like a little boy now. So I imagine how you look when you were 16. I know you look really young.
Yeah, I was probably 5'5", 115 pounds.
115 pounds, yeah, you a little bitty thing. And they're gonna send you to TYC for something, and you just sitting in the car and they can't prove that you had the intent to rob somebody?
Yeah, and I didn't even really see my my attorney that they appointed. Like, I got arrested October, I would say like December 12th, when we stood in front of the judge, he was like, yeah, we recommend TYC. And I was just like, you ain't even came to talk to me like that.
The lawyer never came to talk to you?
Yeah, so I was just like.
The first time that you went?
Yeah, so I think he saw me one time, like in between October, December.
I mean, but did
like
you
one
tell
time when I went to court, he like already recommended something.
But did you get to tell the lawyer that you were just sitting in the car? And y'all weren't robbing people? Y'all didn't have the intent to rob?
Yeah.
And that the guy was high and he just did something sporadically?
Yeah. I think it was that witness statement from the other dude.
The other guy.
It didn't really much matter with us. And then the firearm was in the vehicle. So, but even the guy who got robbed didn't identify me. Like, he'd even have nothing to say about me.
So the person that got robbed couldn't identify you?
He'd even say nothing about me. But the state picked it up.
Damn. That's cold. I mean, that's cold. I mean, I'm just telling you, in Houston, I don't see anything like that. I mean, I don't see it.
It took me a while. I went the first time. Again, this is.
But you got in trouble here or in San Antonio?
Yeah, here.
Yours was here. Yeah, I thought so.
But the first time I went, I had 11 charges my first time. And then when I went that second time, that's when they ended up giving me the 5. So the 11 you can't see, but the 5, and these 11 felonies that I had. So at 16, I had 16 felonies. But when I got certified, that's what you can see. So because I had so many initial, like they like, we getting you out of here. And then
but you were doing it. You were doing
No,
it.
I didn't do it. I never robbed anybody.
Oh, you never
I
robbed-
shot the house up.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Somebody could have gotten killed.
Yeah.
I mean, you shot the house up. And you would do. But still, once you certify as an adult, then it goes over to the adult system. So then that part you can see.
Yeah.
So yours can't be seen.
Yeah, mine could be seen.
Because
It can't be
Because I had to. Yeah, because
He was
I'm
on
a
adult
de-
probation, though.
Parole.
Parole, adult parole.
Determined sentence?
I'm a determined sentence, so I ain't never going nowhere.
Yeah.
So because like as a juvenile, I went to the adult, and so I'll go to TDCJ and they'll be like, oh, we can't find it because it's juvenile. And when I go to TYC, whatever, they'll be like, oh, well, we gave that to TDCJ. And so like I just did the badge for like the frequent visitors of Harris County, whatever, and it showed up 2005. I mean, they ain't really, I explained it, but it still showed
The
up.
determinant sentencings can be used against you now, too. Back in 2005, I don't think they could. Nothing you did as a juvenile could be used against you, but you can be enhanced with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Now you can.
And I could have got reset. Like if I mess up on like my 9th year of parole, like all that would have been like dead time, and they reset it to like do your 10 over.
Well, it's just unfortunate that you had to do 4 years in TYC for a crime you didn't commit.
Yeah.
And how little you were going in. So how was it in TYC? I mean, it had to be rough.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the conditions more so than the people. I think how you like enter TYC like kind of determines the duration of your stay. You know what I mean? As far as people. But like the jails were like, so out of the 3 jails I went to, 2 have been shut down.
So the three, tell us with the 3 jails where you went to.
I went to Marlin. I went to a jail in Marlin, Texas. I went to one in Vernon, Texas, by Oklahoma, and then I went to Giddings State School. And so Giddings is the only one that's still open. I think there was like 13. There's like 5 open jails now. Out of 2.
Why are they shutting down?
Corrupt, abuse, sexual abuse, the conditions of confinement, putting kids in solitary for long. You know, I remember it was like by Oklahoma, it was snow. Then it was like 110 in the summer. And it's like, there's no AC, there's no none of that, you know, and you just got like, we got something called wingers, like these little strap-on shoes. You get like a pair of shoes and like your 2 shirts, 2 shorts, or whatever.
So how do you survive? I mean, how did you survive with that kind of heat and that kind of cold?
I would go to security.
What's that
I
mean?
would do something to go to security.
Lock up?
Yeah. I would do something to be like I had strep throat once, I had pink eye, and they would just like go to the infirmary, they give you some water, like drink some water. So I'd like, you know, do something, throw something against the wall so I can go to security.
And when you go to security, what happens? That's in lockdown?
Some AC, sure, something like something, you know what I mean? But it like in security, it's like super, super cold though. And you just in like these boxers, like they take everything off, but it was better than like
You can
110 degrees. Yeah.
When I was in a situation like that, we were on lockdown on Conley unit, and I was 18, I think, and we were on lockdown for 2 months straight. And so then we got up, I remember we got up for 4 days, and we went back for 2 months. So at 18, I learned that, just like you, I learned that you have to do stuff. So I used to act like I passed out, literally.
All right, now people watching it don't know what you're talking about. So use a few more words to describe so people can kind of see it like a movie. Use a little more words to describe what you're saying. So, because you're just saying, I had to get in trouble, I had to do this. But, you know, we can't see what you're saying.
So when you go to lockdown, you on...
But let's talk about before you go to lockdown. Why are you acting up to go to lockdown?
No, I was on a thing called minimum custody. I got in trouble, got 2 major cases, arguing with an officer, and then I lost a custody level. And I went to medium custody, which is really, really bad. So medium custody, now you're around everybody that's kind of like just, it's insane. It's not crazy, it's insane. So being around a bunch of people that's insane, you don't know how to be insane, so you figure out what your insane is.
So you're saying that they have mental difficulties? When you're saying insane?
Insane is just how the environment is. Also, I had a cellie that was a mental patient. So I'm 18 with a guy that was 36 that was on Thursday, so he actually was a mental patient. And I was in the cell with him for, I think, close to 6 months.
Oh my God.
And so when we used to go on lockdown, and
now the difference is Damion, when he was a juvenile, but he got certified as an adult, so he's a little boy in the adult system. When we're talking to Dieter went to the juvenile system, so he's with other badass juvenile kids.
Yeah.
And some of them that's innocent, but they some badass kids, and they're the most violent when they're young. But at least they were your age group for the most part.
Yeah, there was adults, but not past 21.
Not
it was
past
21.
21.
Cop out.
Yeah, up to 21. Yeah,
mine
13
with
to 21. But with him, you with everybody. So
17 to 80.
Yeah, you 17. Yeah, even though you were 16.
Yeah. So, but I went in at 16, I got certified, and I went to 17. So by the time I got to TDC, I was 17.
So let's talk about this cellie you were with that was crazy.
So everybody, the whole like system, because everybody has to find what their insane is. Everybody has to find out what their crazy is, because you don't want to get taken advantage of. But what I used to do on lockdown.
What do you mean by that? You don't want to get taken advantage of? I don't understand that.
Well, you know, they in there handling people. They in there raping people, just being honest. They rape people. They just fighting. So you going to make sure that you know how to fight as well.
Right.
So, again, I always say I'm never a gangster, but I got a good name still to this day. So I never was in those situations where I was taken advantage of, but I've seen it. So,
But how did you avoid getting taken advantage of?
Well, I never was a part of the gang, but you roll with Houston, and then you fight. Like, so if something happens, you fight. Or if Houston gets into it with Dallas, which happened, I'm sure, in TYC. If Houston gets into it with Dallas, or Houston gets into it with the Hispanics, or Houston gets into it with the whites, you gotta go with that.
Right.
And if you don't, Houston will take care of you. So people from your city will jump on you, or they'll just take protection off of you, I guess, or just say, man, look, we don't want him anymore, and now you out there by yourself.
Yeah.
So when I went to medium custody, it was almost like you had to prove yourself. because now medium custody, you don't have anything. So going back to what I was doing, I used to just act out. I would swallow soap. He would throw stuff against the wall. I would swallow soap. Somebody taught me this, and small pieces of soap, and I would do like exercise, and my blood pressure would go to 200 over 200. So I can go to the infirmary because it was so
But
high.
what would the symptoms be that you 200 over 200?
I didn't even know what blood pressure was.
Yeah, I know.
I just knew that they said that this would happen. So when they put the thing on my arm,
But what made them put the thing on your arm?
because I would act like I passed out. I'd throw water on my face, and I have a cellie who's on Thursday, and then he would be at the window yelling, "Hey, my cellie passed out." And I would get up and go look and see where the nurse was. Then I would lay back down and put some more water on my face. And then they would just tell you to drink water.
Right. Yeah,
After
that's all
you
right.
did it the third time, they said, okay, maybe something's wrong.
Right.
So I ended up getting a high blood pressure badge, asthma
But your blood
badge.
pressure really did go up, though.
It went up, but I didn't feel it because I still was like working out. I was young. So I didn't even know what 200 over 200 meant.
That's bad.
I just didn't want to be.
If I get 200
Yeah.
over 200 at this age, I'd probably die.
Yeah, but I literally.
Stroke out.
Yeah, but we did things like that to act out because of the conditions.
Yeah.
And then how would that improve your situation?
It doesn't improve it.
For the moment.
Yeah. It doesn't really improve it. It just gives you some relief because you understand being in those systems that you have moments. You have moments. So you can put together enough good moments. You got a good day, a good year, a good whatever.
So when your cellie was 18 and your cellie is 36 and he's really a mental patient, did he do things to you?
Nah. I still remember his name. He's from Austin, actually. No, I actually had to evaluate him because they didn't give him his medicine for a month one time. And he's just started saying stuff. So I got up and I acted like I was a therapist, some stuff I saw on TV. And I actually wrote and I sent it to the infirmary for him. And so when they came, I knew all of his I literally, 18, I knew every medication he had. I knew why he got on Thursday. And I would tell them his story. You got to protect yourself in different ways. So I learned everything about him. And then I would then tell the doctor, the nurse, even the guard, hey, this was going on. Because I did have a fear because I know that he would flip out at some point.
Right.
But he never flipped out.
So when you tell them that, do they know you're doing it to protect yourself? Or
Nah, they know he on the medicine.
but why didn't they give it to him for a month?
Stuff happens, the system, like, again, it just happens like that. I can't even explain it. You can't justify
You don't
it.
know why.
Yeah.
But he started acting crazy then.
Yeah.
He needed his medicine.
Yeah.
Okay, Nita, tell me what you did to survive and try to use more words to kind of so we can visualize what you were going through.
What I did to survive?
Yes. In situations like that, when you said if the conditions were so bad, you'd have to act out so you could get moved into another situation. What kind of, give me an example.
I mean, my things were just like getting sick and stuff like that. You know, I would just do whatever I had to do to go to security, because like you go to infirmary, they don't really give you nothing, you know? So my thing was just like, there was already a lot of stuff going on my dorm as it is.
Like what?
Like people just loud all the time, just doing the most and just random fights and just, you know, just not being emotionally in control of themselves. And like I never really had, I mean I had fights, but I never really had nothing come my way because I knew how to just pay attention to stuff. But you get tired of that sometimes, especially when you're sick. Like I remember vividly, I had strep throat and they were like, drink water. And I was like, I can't.
They wouldn't give you medicine?
No, it's like they ain't had none. The jail I was at by Oklahoma was,
Horrible.
it was horrible.
And that's the Victoria Field in Vernon.
Victory Field, yeah.
Victory Field, okay.
So there was 2 boot camps, Sheffield and Victory Field, both were shut down. But it's like 5 a.m., hit the ground, push-ups, stand on this yellow line, count off when the lights come on, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way. Then you hit the, like a bathroom. You gotta like get your toothbrush, go to the bathroom, come out. Like it was real. It's supposed to be like discipline, you know what I mean? But I was a determined offense offender. Everybody else was GO, a general offender. So there were a bunch of dudes in there with 9 months, and I had 10 years. So you gotta know how to do things like off camera. You can't really fight on camera, because you know they'll send you, it's called a red packet. They'll just send you TDC. They could fight all day. By 21, it don't matter, they're going home. They in there for like stealing a car or something, you know what I mean? So there's dudes that was in there, you know, probably 3 years off a 9-month sentence just because
They kept fighting.
they just didn't really care. And they didn't really have too much to lose. When you got like a lot of time, 25 years, 30 years, like you can have a 40-year sentence with a 3-year minimum in TYC.
Right. And then
As long as you do
transfer.
that you just do 37 years on parole or 37 in TDC. You know, and so I had a 10-year, and you just got to know how to do certain things. You know, like somebody would say something, and you know they don't act like that or they don't talk like that, but they'll say it in front of a correctional officer because they know the correctional officer like break the fight up real quick. You know what I mean? But y'all will both get rolled up. That write-up costs you differently as a determined offense offender than it does with somebody with 9 months. So they'll talk, poke your bear when there's a correctional officer around. But when there's not one, they don't talk like, you know what I'm saying? And so you
Poking
gotta,
the bear is a good way to describe it. They
right.
poke the bear.
So you gotta like do something when they're in the bathroom, and you gotta just figure out how to be creative with certain things, you know?
Wow.
Cause like it'll be a fight for like 20 seconds. You know what I mean? And then you get a write-up, and when you sit in front of parole, all them write-ups are like, okay, we might send you to TDC instead of TDC parole. They don't gotta they don't see parole. They just 9 months, boom. You just kind
But
of,
somehow you maneuvered. So you stayed in TYC, the 3 facilities, for 4 years.
yeah, 4 years on a 36-month minimum. So I had a 3-year minimum, I did 4.
And why'd you do an extra year?
Because my casework is just, I think everybody stayed over their time. Like your caseworker got to submit a black packet to TDCJ parole to like get reviewed and all that. And so you're really just waiting for your results to.
So you got to see TDCJ parole and not juvenile
Yeah.
supervision because they don't have a juvenile supervision division like that.
Not past a certain, no.
Okay.
Right. So
That
I came
is-
out on.
So how would they evaluate that? That's something. Yeah. That's.
It
how
sounds
do
like
they
it's not
evaluate
it's
that?
not working right at all.
Yeah.
Did y'all have fights too? San Antonio versus Houston versus Dallas? Did that happen in TYC?
I mean, a little bit. I was originally from Chicago. My family from Chicago. So I caught my charge in San Antonio. But we were, you know, I was gang related, and it was more so gangs, more so than I guess. I mean, there was some city on city type stuff. I think during that time, a lot of dudes come from New Orleans too. And
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like,
Oh yeah, that's the Katrina time.
yeah, like dudes from Houston did not like New Orleans. You know what I mean? And so,
No.
but like me, you know, being from San Antonio or whatever, like I never had like a San Antonio versus Fort Worth or something like that. Like we ain't never had that.
How old were you when you moved to San Antonio?
Oh, I was probably like, my mom married like 11, so probably like 10, 11.
So you'd been there a while.
Yeah, I was back and forth from Illinois and Missouri, and then we came to San Antonio because my grandmother passed, and so we're gonna go back and live with my grandfather. And he passed right after, boom. I guess from like, you know, heartbreak, you don't really know what to do when you've been with somebody so long. And so we filed bankruptcy, all that, and we just
Stayed there.
Yeah, we stayed there.
So when you got out in 2009 and they put you in the adult parole system, you said you were on parole from 2009 to 2015, is that right? That's a long time for a case you didn't do. So you basically dealt with that for 10 years, the whole 10 years, because
The whole
that's
10, yeah.
your 10 years.
You gotta give me your time, yeah.
Was your parole in San Antonio and Bexar County, or did you do it here?
Nah, I moved in to Houston like 2018.
Okay.
I moved right after Harvey. I had an interview for a group called Texas Organizer Project, and they were like, "You killed the interview, whatever." And I'm at an Airbnb, and it just started raining real hard, and it was Harvey. I was like, "Damn!" So I'm stuck in Houston.
You got stuck in Houston, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Top. But okay, so you got out in 2015, and how old were you then?
What, in 2015?
Were you 20? How old were you? I mean,
When I
how
got
old were you
out?
when you got out? When you
I
got
was
off
20.
parole?
Oh, 26.
26. Okay.
16 to 26.
Okay. But then but when you got out in 2009, how old were you then?
20.
20. Okay. So where'd you live?
What city? I live in San Antonio.
I mean, but how did you survive at 20? You're still kind of a child. You've been in prison since you were a child. So how did you make a living?
Oh, I worked in I was like a cafeteria worker at first. They call it like a nutrition aide or something. You just a cafeteria worker.
And how did you find that job?
I was just applying. I was just going crazy. And then so I went to on parole.
And did you get your GED or diploma while you were at
Had a
TYC?
GED, yeah. So my first month, I got it in orientation, and so I was just sitting there with a GED, and so I got.
Now, when you got out of TYC, did you have a copy of your GED? Because some people can't find them when they've gotten them while they're
I
in
had a
TYC.
copy,
So when you got out, they gave it to you.
Yeah, I had a copy of mine, and I went to. So on parole, you got to either like pursue education or keep a job, and so I went to a school called St. Philip's College, and I went for culinary arts because I was a cook in jail.
Okay.
And so I was working part-time, going to school full-time, and I was just collecting those financial aid checks and stuff. And so my dad, before he passed, he was in the military. And so I had something called like a GI Bill,
Yeah.
where they give you like however much money per month. So I was like paying my rent off that, getting the financial aid check, and then working part-time.
That's how you made
So
it.
I was in the kitchen.
Well,
Was
I
it
know St.
difficult for you
Philip's.
to find
Yeah.
a apartment?
No, it was, I mean, difficult
Because
finding a good apartment.
but you know he might have had that parole that they could
Yeah.
see, but he didn't have the actual case,
The
which
case,
is
yeah.
probably closed.
Yeah,
So I don't know if they could see it.
I
The
don't
apartment complexes, I'm not sure they could see that.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't never like
It is
finessing
so like intricate. Like I never knew, cause I almost had a determined sentence, and I ended up getting certified. But I never knew that like you on TDC parole. How was that going from? How did they treat you
What you mean?
for like the parole part of it too?
Oh, I mean, I had a lot of opportunities I couldn't take advantage of because of parole. Like I remember I had a Fulbright fellowship to like study in Europe. PO was like, no,
In San Antonio, you got that?
San Antonio.
And
then
your parole person told you about that?
No, they didn't tell me about it. I went on my own and I got it.
Okay.
And then I told them, they're like, no, you can't leave the country. Like, what you mean? And so, and then I tried to transfer my associates in culinary to a culinary program at U of H for my bachelor's. And they were like, no, you can't transfer. So I just had to like keep changing majors and a bunch of different stuff. So I did what I had to do to like go above and beyond on parole. But my PO, no, it wasn't happening.
So when you moved here, you were trying to get with Texas Organizing Project. Did you get the job? Did you work there?
I worked there.
What years did you work there?
Probably like, I was there for like a year, 2017 to 2018 or something like that.
Okay. And that was here in Houston.
So I graduated December 2015 and I got off
Graduated from where?
UT San Antonio. And so
And what was your major there?
public policy, nonprofit management.
Public policy, nonprofit management.
That was my minor, yeah.
And what's the degree? What level?
Bachelor's.
Bachelor's.
Yeah. So
So after you did the 2 years at St. Philip's to get the associates, I guess it was 2 years, and you transferred to UT?
UTSA, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I went to like SAC, St. Philip's, UTSA, like that, boom, boom, boom.
St. Philip's is the black college,
Yeah.
junior college in San Antonio.
Yeah, it's a HBCU, yeah.
Yeah, it's a black college there, and SAC is the mainstream junior college.
I did not know that.
And it's two. They were there when I was there.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a culinary program. And so, but no, I mean, long story short, I got off parole October 2015. I graduated college December 2015. And so I was supposed to work in Ukraine. I was joining the Peace Corps. And so like 2 weeks before my departure to the Peace Corps, they're like, we cancel your assignment. You're gonna go to West Africa in 6 months. And so I was like, I didn't quit my job and everything else. Like, what I'm supposed to do for 6 months? They're like, we can't let y'all go because it's too risky right now. And so I just started shooting my resume everywhere. And then there's a lady named Tarsha Jackson. I found her on Facebook and I was
I
like,
know
man,
Tarsha. She used to be over the top.
yeah, that was my,
Now she's city council.
yeah. So I messaged her on Facebook like, man, I turned in my resume and she was like, yeah, if you could make it to Houston to interview. And I came down and got the job. So I was there for like a year.
Okay, and then from there, what'd you do? Because I see you got a beautiful website now, and you've moved on up. So tell us how you overcame and got there. What happened after that?
I mean, I just started going into overdrive. Like when I didn't have a job and I was waiting on top, like I just didn't want to be in that position like that, you know. And so I learned like not to put all my eggs in one basket, because even like when I drove for the interview, like I lost my vehicle in Harvey, so they didn't tell me that day I got the job. So I'm like, damn, I got to get back to San Antonio, no job, no car, and I already didn't have no car, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I hope I got the job, you know what I mean? And so I had a rental car and gap insurance and all this other stuff, living off credit cards, and I was just like, no, we not doing that no more. And so I think I was making like 32 grand a year at that job, and I just started doing a whole bunch of different things and contracts and just figuring it out. You know, I just didn't want to be, I just learned that like having a job or just having one stream of income was just too risky.
Right. Where did the drive come from it though? Because again, knowing you for the time that I've known you, and you know how people look at you, you considered like somebody that gets things done, and a lot of people admire you. You put me in my first position to ever get any funding. So where did the drive come from? Not only for yourself, but one thing that that Cantu does, he includes the community to be able to bring them up with him, and it doesn't always benefit him.
Yeah.
He's been burned just like a lot of other. We talked about that.
You know,
on the
I've been
ride over.
burned.
Yeah.
You know, I've been burned a lot of times. But maybe that's more of a San Antonio attitude, because we help people. Y'all Houstonians are dogs.
I'm born in San Antonio.
Y'all dogs with it. Not you. Y'all dogs with it. We help people.
But like where did the drive come from? Because you say overdrive, and that's a real good description of who you are. But you not only have the attitude and the demeanor of overdrive, like you literally get things done. You sent a picture one day, my first time saying this, I think you were doing something, and at your house, you got like this chalk wall or something.
Yeah.
And on the chalk wall was like some Elon Musk stuff. Like, and I never, my first time saying it, I was always thinking like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Where did it come from? Because not only do you produce publicly, you produce privately as well.
I mean, poverty. I mean, scarcity. You know, I just think I've always had people to take care of, you know. And it's
Like who? Who are you taking care of?
cousins in the penitentiary. My mother sick. She had spinal meningitis her whole life. She had the bacteria and the virus, so she beat it twice.
And how old were you? Is she still alive?
Yeah, she's still alive.
She's still with us. Okay, good.
No,
Your father that passed. Okay.
Well, he had it too. He had spinal meningitis too. So my mother had it when she was like, I think 8, and then she had it again. My mother had me at like 35. I think she had it like her early 40s or something like that. And so, I remember I was really little, but just having responsibilities, I can't fall off and go back home. Or so, you know what I mean?
Right.
I
Oh,
can't,
I understand. Oh, yeah, I was like that too.
Yeah, I just had to figure it out. So, and then like these kids that are coming out of jail.
Do you have children?
Nah, I ain't got a kid. So, just taking care of folks, really. So, I think that's where it came from, really just scarcity of like.
So what do you do now?
I do juvenile justice reform. I have a consultancy firm called Juvenile Rights. I got like a technical writing company, so I do art appraisals and grant writing, stuff like that. I got a real estate portfolio and a tequila company.
So what's a real estate portfolio? What do you mean?
Like, so I do, well, at one point in time, I did corporate lease agreements for like tenants, kind of like Airbnb. I had like 18 of those. And as far as like.
Do you still do that?
No, I don't really do it. And so, because it's a lot to like manage. And
Because
then
what?
It's a lot to like stay on top of.
Oh, it's a lot.
And then, but like properties, I got 3.
And what do you do with them?
Rent them out. Like long term, not short term.
Okay. Yeah, those short terms can bite you in the butt because, you know, somebody's coming in, leaving, you got to get it cleaned up. Somebody's coming out, and you can't rely on the help to clean it up.
Exactly.
So Airbnbs, they're not all what you think they are. Sometimes, I think sometimes owners have to go clean it up themselves because the people don't get there in time. Yeah, so those Airbnbs can be a problem.
Yeah.
I think the ones that's most successful on my block, a guy is in a duplex, and so he can watch what's going on next door. You know, he lives there and he's running it.
Oh, yeah.
The Airbnb is the second part of it. So he's always, and he's a smoke, so he's always outside smoking.
Yeah.
But he makes sure it's not a lot of noisy people. It might be like a bachelor, you know, like the groomsmen are all there or something. It might be little parties, but they're not loud because he lives there.
Yeah.
So he has control of it. And so I guess if his maids don't show up, he can go clean it up. But he's right there. I don't think he does anything else for a living. It might be his retirement job.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
It's
it's hard
good
to
when
keep
it's
up
good.
with. It's
Right.
good, but it's hard to keep because the timing has to be just right to clean up and get it ready.
And then if they destroy something,
If they destroy something,
unexpected.
right? And you got the next group coming in, so it can be a problem.
Yeah, there was like people bringing in like hookahs and stuff, and like leaving like cold burns in the carpet, and it was a lot.
Yeah, because a lot of young people renting for parties.
And I was doing a tour too, like renting out cars, getting them from the auction. But even that, like you gotta chase people down for your car, past the time limit and stuff, and it's like,
Yeah, leave it until you come pick it up. I did a hire car, so I was renting out to Uber and Lyft. And when I stayed on the south side, for whatever reason, I always had to come pick up on West Road to Walmart. And I didn't know, because I was on the south side, I didn't know that was like not a necessarily good Walmart right there. And so I would have to go pick up my cars from West Road. And I just started saying, take it to Walmart on West Road.
right.
You got to have your extra key. And so, yeah, I did that
it's
for
a
a little
lot.
bit too.
Oh yeah, because you used to sell cars, right?
Yeah. So I was like, I can figure out another way instead of selling cars, sell the service of a car.
It seems easier than it is.
It is, yeah. It's a hassle. If you don't have everything with anything that we're doing, if you don't have like a good system in place, and then you can identify issues and stuff, it's always gonna be something to where you got some sort of learning curve. Right. And I don't want too many more learning curves in my life right now. Boy.
Oh yeah, I mean, say if you have a 4-bedroom house or 3-bedroom, somebody's got to get there and wash all those sheets, and get it ready. And you got to do load by load by load. So it really takes a day to get it ready. And then you got to have a maintenance man, just like you said, in case they put a hole in the wall or burn something. You have to fix it up. So it's hard to keep that business going.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So what else you do? You do public speaking?
I do. I do more so like trainings or workshops instead of like. I used to just do a bunch of like speaking engagements, but more so like training and teaching.
So you say you write, you do grant writing. Do you actually yourself have some grants right now to do?
In front of me? Yeah.
That are your grants, like you've applied for and you got the award.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And those grants are to do what?
Everything from agriculture, like urban agriculture, to community violence interventions, community organizing, a lot of different things.
So being able to see that, what kind of got you there to the grant writing? Did you take courses, or did you go to class for it, or did you just like say, I'm gonna get in and kind of figure it out as I go along?
Just figure it out. I mean, when I went to college, we didn't. My minor was in nonprofit management, but we didn't really talk about grant writing. And then
But what'd you talk about? In nonprofit management, you seem like you would be teaching you how to manage grants, because that's what nonprofits are usually funded by grants or foundations.
Yeah, I mean, it was more so like fiscal management, how to structure a nonprofit, more so than like how to obtain funding for one. And I took a course at Rice at I think it's called Glasscock Department or something like that. I took a course there, but I mean, really, it's like you just get.
What kind of class was it at Rice?
Grant writing course, but it's just like a 3-month course. It's like certification. It wasn't like a accredited,
Right. That's the night classes they have, yeah.
And but you really just learn, like, get told no, and you follow up, say, why you tell me no? You know what I mean? Oh, because your grant, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, cool. Then you apply for another one, So it's just trial and error, so.
So are you at 35? Are you where you want to be? Where do you see yourself going now?
I'm content where I'm at, and I think I'm who I want to be in life, as far as like as an individual.
Well, I'm impressed that you never got in trouble. It seem like the system failed you, though. To spend 10 years either in prison or on parole, there's a lot to be a passenger in a car.
Yeah, I mean, but my story ain't
It's not unusual.
You know what I mean? Right.
It's not unusual.
Especially not.
Not in San Antonio,
Right.
but in Houston, I don't think you would find. Usually, if it's an aggravated robbery, y'all did it together. It's actually a little more evidence than that.
Yeah.
Were you like in a certain neighborhood there
Like growing up?
in San Antonio?
Yeah. I was on the northeast side, so it's
And
like.
y'all were in a gang. Is that the problem? Were y'all? In a
Nah,
gang?
they was like athletes.
They were
I
athletes?
was. Yeah.
They were athletes?
Well, two of them. The other one, you know, he was from the street. I'm not saying they weren't from the streets.
Right.
But
they were
played
in
ball
school and
stuff.
playing ball,
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So, but it doesn't sound like they went to prison either.
No, I ain't go to prison.
So you the only one who went to prison?
They went to prison later in life for like something else.
No, but I'm just saying this: the one with with the empty shotgun didn't go to prison.
For that? No.
Yeah, for that.
No, I ain't go to prison. Ain't nobody went.
That sounds crazy that they didn't.
messed up,
He
yeah.
didn't go to prison, and he was the adult with the shotgun.
No, ain't nobody go to prison. Nobody.
Well, you went.
I mean, yeah.
TYC, you went.
But that again is similar to my case because the guy they was shooting that morning, and we got in the car, and the guy that I went to jail with had crack on him, and so they let the adults, which was 18, which we all was around each other, but the two juveniles actually went to court. I was 16, he was 15,
Right.
but the 18-year-olds they let them go, and they was the ones that was actually shooting the morning that we got arrested.
Right.
They just started putting crimes on us. But those guys that they let go was some of the guys that actually did some of the robberies.
Right.
So I knew who did the robbery. So I'm similar. Like I didn't snitch. That was my thing. Like I just didn't tell on who did the stuff. I knew who did it. But they was like, cause I'm thinking probably how you was thinking, and kind of how I see that you're thinking. The system should have corrected itself.
Yes.
I was in.
Your lawyer should have tried to correct it.
My lawyer going through a juvenile certification case. I was my lawyer's first client in juvenile.
Ever.
Ever.
Oh, wow.
Going through a juvenile certification case. So throughout going in juvenile, I'm thinking that they're gonna correct themselves. Even though I sold crack and did everything else, I'm in juvenile thinking that the system is gonna do what the system's supposed to do.
Right.
Is that kind of what
But you weren't there for selling crack. It was for
Exactly.
killing somebody,
Yeah.
wasn't
No,
it?
I ain't killing him.
Well, you shot somebody.
Shot out. Yeah.
You shot that house up, okay. Well, did somebody get shot?
No, nobody got shot. The
I'm
refrigerator.
sorry,
got shot.
I've dealt with so many murders that I
Yeah.
lose count. But you know, I've had a lot of people that murder people that I've represented and that have sat in these chairs. So I do get them mixed up. But I knew it was a gun involved.
yeah,
okay,
right,
okay. You didn't shoot nobody, but
So coming from your standpoint, working in the DA's office and being a criminal lawyer for so long, what do you think that the issue lies with the way that they work with juveniles from 90s or going back to the 80s all the way up and even till, and this was recent, this is modern.
yeah, his is more modern than yours.
Yeah, his is modern.
You, for juvenile certification, that shouldn't have been that lawyer's first juvenile certification. If so, the court, to me, if they knew that was a person's first one, should have appointed somebody to be with them, to train them on how to do
They
it.
did appoint somebody, and it was like, he wasn't, I remember all their names still to this day, but it doesn't,
Well, the person that they appointed, I thought you said the person they appointed was their first certification.
the person that they appointed to me was their first certification. They ended up bringing another lawyer in, but he never did anything. He still was the only one that, they brought him in as far as look.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but he
Well,
never
and a
did.
lot of times when they do that, it's just to consult. But I'm just saying they should have gone through the whole process. Because when it's juvenile certification, you got to get the social history, the background, what kind of deficits you might have mentally,
None of
your grades, what kind of accolades you might have, why certification, why the juvenile system can handle the punishment for you versus being in the adult system, and that you're too immature to be mixed in with grown people. I mean, if you didn't shoot nobody, it just doesn't seem like you should have been certified. And they didn't do many certifications back then, so I'm surprised you were certified. What year was that, 99?
94?
94. Did you find that there were a lot of certifications in 94?
Yeah, we went through it.
94.
Yeah.
That was
That
a
was
long
a super
time ago.
credit. That was a thing.
Yeah. 94, they did do a lot of them. I'm sorry, I'm getting my years mixed up.
I got a couple people that's gonna come on that I was actually in juvenile with, and they're just getting out. So 30 years later,
Oh my God.
I got some guys. 30 years later, we were in juvenile together, and 30
Yeah,
years
94 was a rough time.
later-
Yeah, 94, I forgot. Yeah,
Yeah,
95,
it was
4
tough.
was rough.
Yeah.
94 was when the courts went all Republican. It was tough on crime. Oh, yeah.
So asking Dieter too, because what he does now is a lot of work with the same system that he actually went through. So what do you see coming down like the pipe now of with the work that you do, that's trying to correct some of the issues that the system has?
What do I see like happening, changing? So we have the only consultancy firm contracted with TJJD where all of us we met in TJJD.
Okay, so tell me about this. A consulting firm.
Yeah, called Juvenile Rights.
And whose firm is that?
Is mine.
So it's Juvenile Rights.
And there's 19 of us that we met as children in prison.
So 19 of you Met his children. Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
so
so now
you,
that-
you remembered all their names? How did you find all these people when you got out?
No, we just stayed in touch.
Stayed in touch, okay.
Yeah.
So it's called Juvenile Rights, and you have a contract with what do they
TJ.
call it now?
Texas Juvenile Justice Department, TJJD.
Texas Juvenile Justice Department. So it's not TYC anymore, it's TJJD.
Right, because they like, after all the corruption and they were shutting down the jails, they like rebranded.
So after the corruption, rebranded, instead of TYC, gotta get that right,
Yeah.
then it was TJJD. So you have a contract with them.
Right.
And what does your contract ask for you to do?
We do like trainings and workshops with
Now,
the
where do
kids.
you do it at the facility?
Yeah, within the same facility that we were housed at, called Giddings State School. And so we do that. We got a pen pal program where we kind of like co-create a success plan with them based off the skills we teach them. Then we go to the court hearing, it's called a transfer hearing. We go back to court to see if they're gonna go home or go to TDC. We show up with them and we create a plan with the public defender. And then once they're on parole, we connect them to wraparound services. And so we do that in Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, Fort Worth, there are 19 of us. And so we're instrumental in leading the Department of Justice lawsuit against TJJD to help shut them down. So it's like, I won't say put pressure on them, but we like found, went to testify at Austin or whatever during the session.
And during the session, who found y'all to go testify? Were you dealing with a specific state representative? Or
Nah, like a coalition of, it's called a Sunset Advisory Commission. So it's like a coalition of nonprofits reached out to us, or reached out to me back in like 2022. And it helped for the DOJ to be like, okay, we're actually gonna sue TJJD.
And is that going on now?
Yeah, it's going on right now. Yeah. That it just this year started. What I mean?
Do you think that it's going to change with a different Department of Justice?
I think they might clean up stuff for the moment. I don't think them jails are going to go nowhere. I don't think too much is going to change. But that's why we're hoping it does. But until then, we're helping the kids now. You know what I mean? With that contract to say, well, until things, abolished.
So who pays the contract? Is it the government in Austin that pays it?
No, we gotta write grants.
I know, but like who funds the grant? I mean, what organization funds the grant?
OJJD.
I mean, is that the Texas Legislature's grant?
Nah,
I mean,
no, federal.
It's federal, but it's still administered through Austin.
No,
This one goes directly from
yeah.
Department of Justice to
It was
you?
like Liz
or
Ryan,
BJA, or is it?
And then we've
Bureau of
applied for
Justice?
BJA, stuff like that. But OJJD, Office of Juvenile Justice Department, or something like that. I think they're under the DOJ, if I'm not mistaken. Something
You
like
think
that.
it's DOJ? You don't think it's BJA? You don't think it's
It might be BJA.
Bureau of Justice?
Might have been.
Okay.
But I mean, we're applying for a lot of grants, but that's what kept us afloat like last year.
Okay.
Because, TJJD ain't gonna give us no money.
Oh, no. Right. They're not going to want to do that. Okay.
Right.
So it's a federal grant.
And then we had like some micro grants from like some foundations, stuff like that. So.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's where your nonprofit skills come in.
Right. Yeah.
So who does all that paperwork for y'all?
Me. Me and, I got a friend that's kind of like an accountant, but yeah.
So what about, like, it's 19 of y'all? Y'all all in Houston or y'all all over the state?
All over the state. So I would say most of us are in Dallas and Houston.
So
But
do y'all Zoom or do y'all drive and get together? How do y'all meet?
Zoom, phone call, group chat, stuff like that. We'll meet up. Like we had a strategic planning session in Houston. Everybody came to Houston, but for the most part, I just said, hey, we got a contract for Travis County type thing. We got one. My friend today just pulled up in Dallas, to negotiate a contract. Like I might drive to Dallas, but for the most part, I just drive to the cities when these kids come out. So they'll have I can't say their name, but I just had 2 capital murders, a manslaughter, and 2 robberies come out in Garland, Dallas, and Fort Worth. And so I drove out there just to look at them, because I knew them when they were in jail. You know what I mean? So now that they get out, I'm like the one they're most familiar with.
Right.
So I just pull up and be like, hey, welcome home. Take them shopping and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. That's a good grant program. Did you have something like that when you got out?
Not at all. No, I was adult, so they was like, figure it out. Yeah.
All right, well, did you have
I was
something like that when
33.
you got out?
Nah, I had nothing.
There's, I mean, the stuff that he's doing and the stuff that's going on with a lot of the systems is led by the people with the lived experience.
Right.
Yeah, so doing that. So he actually called me to a meeting with a kid that he worked with. And I was, again, I'm always amazed by the brother, or even people that's doing the work that they do. But he called me to a meeting that we met with one of the kids that had just got out, went in for 3 years. He was 15, got out at 18. And he was doing very well. Then he ended up getting shot. I think me and you talked about it a little bit.
The guy got shot?
He ended up getting shot. And
Did he die?
No, he made it.
Oh, good.
But the thing was, he got himself a job. But it's a testament to who Cantu and the coalition is. He got his own self a job. He quit the job because he was triggered by something that happened. He
At the
recognized
job.
some people who he knew when he was young, and he wasn't sure, so he quit the job. And Cantu told him, "You just can't quit the job." He's like, "I already quit." He quit for his safety, what he felt his safety was. So
What kind of job was it that he didn't feel
was it a
safe?
pizza job?
Yeah, Wingstop.
Wingstop.
So they were coming in as patrons, or he was delivering?
And
or
he
what?
didn't know him, like they just saw each other and nobody said anything, right? So this is stuff that he still has to deal with.
He was, the trigger.
He was triggered. But then what happened was he quit the job and we got him in training. I don't know what training he was gonna go to, but he was doing his job readiness training. So he actually was getting ready to go, I think he'd be a welder, right?
Yep,
He was going to be a welder. So he was in class to be a welder and he got shot in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, how did he get shot? I mean, was
It's
it
a-
wrong
yeah.
place at wrong time?
Gas station, yeah.
yeah.
That's on the leg.
I don't know. You got more. We got detail, but
Okay, yeah, you don't wanna
it's
go
just
into
a lot of stuff. Yeah, but it's those things like they don't know how to navigate life, right?
And
A
we
lot of
all
times.
need, and one of the things I've noticed over my 32 years in criminal law is people need mental health treatment. And, because we're going to have those triggers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're trying to figure it out. Did you get mental health treatment?
I mean, I took initiative to get therapy.
Right. Get therapy.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people in Houston go to Harris Health. A lot of people have done that. So when you take the initiative, was it a free program or was it something you had to pay for? How'd you do it?
I had a job, insurance, like the copay. I
Insurance?
went through insurance. I had like IED growing up, but it's like you grow out of it. You take medication and all that. But I had like
What's IAD? I don't know what that is.
Intermittent explosive disorder, IED. It's like an anger thing.
Okay.
And so,
So what were you angry about?
life.
Right? That was before you got in trouble, right? Before you went to prison.
Oh yeah. In prison, I would, whatever, juvenile.
Did you take medicine in a juvenile?
Nah. They were giving kids Seroquel,
Oh yeah, that's for adults, isn't it?
and you just go to sleep. Like if
Seroquel.
you disruptive or whatever, they just give you that. You just
Seroquel.
drill on yourself.
Yeah, okay.
So I wasn't doing nothing.
You didn't want the Syracuse. Or did you get it?
No, I didn't do nothing. I mean, I've from time to time I'd like trade
yeah.
some to
Yeah,
get
just
one.
Get you a good sleep.
Yeah, but they didn't prescribe it to me. So
So when you got, okay, so she's about to shut us down. So we're about to shut down. So I'm going to end with you. So if you have something you would like people who watched your story to know about you, or you want to say something about what you're doing now in the community, or how to get in touch with your program. I think we put up DitaCantu.com under your name so that they would see what you do, but and be able to get in touch with you for your services.
yeah.
And you do have a very nice website, by the way.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Very nice website. Go
I would
ahead.
say for me, the work that we're doing now, we're doing community peace pop-ups where people are coming out to community, learning about public safety. We're bringing resource to underserved communities, and it's not communities that I'm from. We just reach out to communities and see if they want to learn about what we do, and then we bring the resources out to them, but we allow them to design what the event would look like. Bring your kids out. My daughter Olivia is going to come out, so we want to make sure that we just have opportunities for people to design public safety for their particular area. And I always say it's indigenous. Started using that word recently. Public safety is indigenous to the neighborhood because Fifth Ward is different from South Park. East San Antonio is different from Fort Worth.
Okay, and how would they know about your pop-up?
You can go to cognitivejustice.international.com and it will show you the events that we're having. And cognitivejustice.international.com on Facebook, Instagram, it will show the events that we're having.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell me about what's going on in your life. What would you like people to know? How would you like to leave people? What needs-
I mean, if you have any kind of services or if you're a service provider for these kids coming out of TJJD, we would love to partner.
and what if somebody has a kid that needs your services? How would they get in touch with you?
Cantu.com or juvenilerights.com.
Okay.
And whatever social media, I don't got like no nicknames or nothing. It's my name on everything, so they can.
Dita
Yeah.
Cantu is on everything? All
Yeah.
right. All right. Well, we've been told that we have to shut it down. So I've enjoyed this conversation about juveniles. So there's so many juveniles that are in trouble in our criminal justice system right now.
Yeah.
You know, it starts young. You know, the scariest people, the people I'm scared of the most are people from 13 to 25. I mean, that's just a dangerous group. You know, that's when you have that effort attitude, you get high, you'll do anything, you don't really care about the consequences. I've noticed that people grow up when they get to be about 30. They start caring about the consequences, they care about people dying. So we do need people and services that you guys provide to help juveniles and people that have kids that are young that are going the wrong way and need a pathway to the right way. And we need places for people to come when they get out of juvenile and as young adults. Even if they go to the adult system, they can still be 19 and 20 and 21 and they still need those services. So thank you guys for taking the initiative to provide that service. And if you want to know more, we always put our shows on YouTube. So you can always look under Truth and Justice with Vivian King and look at our stories. Thank you for watching and good night.